In my last video, I showed the concept of tempo. In this video, I'm going to show how a development advantage can win the game all by itself. So let's get started with this game. This was played against training account 996 on Zenchess. His rating was 2501. My rating was 2303. So I was black. He started with e4. I played the Sicilian defense. And he played b4, the wing gambit. Now, as a Sicilian player, I hate seeing this because I don't know it very well. It's so rare that it's not really worth studying half the time. I captured the pawn, and he played a3, and he played a3. Okay, so this is the point of the wing gambit. He's basically trying to gain time. If I capture here, he's going to develop a piece with tempo. So I played e5, which is a system I learned in the book Experts Against the Anti-Sicilians. And the idea is basically, if they capture on b4, you capture with the bishop, then you eventually drop the bishop back to e7 and play like that. And that's what happens in this game. Now, I do have to admit, if they were to play something other than capturing on b4, I wouldn't exactly know what to do. Usually I would just let them capture and wait. But luckily for me, they did capture, and I captured back with the bishop. And you can see that even from the start, I'm a little bit ahead on time. I've got one bishop developed, and we've got eagle pawns in the center. White does have some open space around his queen side that he can develop with. And he can also play c3, attacking my bishop. So I'm likely not going to keep the development advantage. So white plays knight f3, attacking my pawn, and I develop a piece, defending the pawn. And here he plays knight a3, and the engine really doesn't like this move. You know, it develops a piece, but for some reason the engine doesn't like this move. But I'm going to focus on the leading development I get in this game and not really focus too much on the actual moves of the game. So he played knight a3, I played knight f6, developing my knight and attacking his pawn. He played c3. His idea is to expand in the center with d4. And I played bishop e7. Here he played queen c2. And we'll see later on, this spot for the queen doesn't turn out to be that great. He actually loses time because he puts his queen there. You'll see how that happens. So I go ahead and castle. And now you can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 tempos. White has about 1, 2, 3, 4 tempos. So we're roughly equal in development. He plays pawn to d4. So now I have to figure out what I'm going to do in the center. He wants to just capture on e5 or play d5, kicking my knight away. But what I do turns out to take advantage of his misplaced queen on c2. So first I capture on d4, he captures back, and then I break up the center with pawn to d5. Now if he were to just capture on d5, then I can capture back with a knight, and I'm fairly well placed. Very quickly completing development with something like bishop g4, and I can get my rook on the e file and cause white some problems. So instead he plays pawn to e5, which is what you would normally do if you can. And then I play knight to e4. So I establish a very powerful knight on e4. And the only thing I have to worry about is bishop d3. What if he challenges my knight? Can I maintain the knight? And I saw that I could play knight b4 here and then just exchange the bishop. So this is how the game proceeded, actually. And then I played knight b4. He moved this queen. I took the bishop. And here you can see where I gain even more time and why the queen on d3 is not on a good spot. So here I play bishop f5. So now I'm attacking the queen indirectly. And if he were to just castle, I can play knight g3, defending my bishop, attacking his queen, and attacking his rook. So I'll win the exchange, and that's enough to win the game. So instead, he moves out of the potential discovered attack, and then I play queen to a5 check. Now look what's happening here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tempos. But if you count how many moves it takes to finish development, I'm fully developed, so 0. But for white, he's got to develop his bishop, and he's got a castle. So it's going to take him 2 moves to finish development. So you can see that I'm definitely ahead on development. So I play queen a5, and he really can't respond to it. The game just wins itself. He ends up playing king f1. But were he to play bishop d2, one strong continuation, although I can also capture the bishop. But I can play queen a6, stopping him from castling. And were he to block the diagonal, I can just capture his bishop. Now he can't capture my queen now, because I can take on f3 with check, and I'll have one apiece. So if he captures back the knight, then I can play bishop d3. And again, he cannot castle, and I can start bringing this bishop in. I can play rook c8, and he's going to be in a whole heap of trouble. So I play queen a5, check. He plays king f1, and then I play rook c8. And if you want to count rooks as being developed, now I've developed this rook, and only this rook is left to really develop on an open file. I've got my queen out, my pieces are well placed. There's all kinds of threats like bishop d3 check. So I play rook c8, and he plays bishop b2. If he were to play bishop d2, I do believe that that completely fails to knight takes d2. Let me just check the engine real quick. Yeah, knight takes d2, and if knight takes d2, then I can play rook c3, and if queen f4, bishop d3 check, and he's just getting demolished here. I can take this knight. And after knight takes d2, if queen takes d2, we can take, bishop d3 check, king g1, and just take this knight, and that's for free because we have rook c1 checkmate. So it turns out that black is really in a heap of trouble. So let's go back to the game, and he plays bishop b2. And here I just play queen b4, attacking the bishop, and it's really getting awkward for him to defend everything. He still has to worry about discovered attacks with the bishop. He doesn't really want to go to b1 because that would get in the line of this bishop. So he plays queen e2 to defend the bishop laterally, but you notice that bishop d3 is becoming an option. And now I'm going to be honest, I didn't calculate anything during this game, really. I mean, maybe knight b4 to stop bishop d3, but that was about it. So I just played knight c3. It looked like it improved the knight. It frees the bishop. And it turns out he's just dead lost here. He took my knight. I took back with the queen. And he just resigned. He just can't hold on to everything. I'm threatening to take this knight. I'm threatening to play bishop d3. So there's just no defense. Yeah, so basically what I like to say is that if you do get a huge lead in development, often the game just wins itself. You don't really need to calculate much. You just get superior positions for all your pieces, and you just attack. That's pretty much the end of the game. So if you liked the video, give me a like, subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. Peace out.